Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to dive into a really powerful concept in bridge, one that can totally transform your competitive bidding and help you snag those tough nail-biter contracts. So, picture this, because it happens all the time. You're in a bidding war. You bid, they bid, you bid again. The stakes keep rising, and you get to that moment where you have to make a choice. Do you push it one level higher, or do you fold and let them have it? What do you do?
I mean, it's the classic dilemma, right? If you get too aggressive, you risk going down and you're just handing penalty points to the other side. But if you're too timid, you might miss out on a contract you could have made, and you're letting them rake in points that really should have been yours. But what if there was this simple guideline, a sort of expert's secret that could cut right through all that confusion? Well, there is. It's called the law of total tricks. And let me tell you, it completely shifts your focus from just counting points to counting something way more important in a bidding war: trumps. Okay, so this idea was first floated for French players back in the 1950s by Jean-René Vernes and got really popular later on thanks to players like Larry Cohen. And this law, and I'm using air quotes here, it suggests this really fascinating idea that the total number of tricks up for grabs is roughly the same as the total number of trump cards held by both sides combined. All right, that's the theory, but what does that actually mean for you when you're sitting at the table in the middle of a game trying to figure out what to do? It actually boils down to a super simple two-step principle. First, you just count up the number of trumps you and your partner have together. Second, in a bidding war, you bid to the level that matches that number. That's it. It gives you a clear, simple target when things get messy. So let's put some numbers to that. If you and your partner have an 8-card fit, the law says you should be competing up to the 2 level. Got a 9-card fit in hearts? The law is telling you, hey, you're safe to compete up to the 3 level. And if you've got a great 10-card fit, you should be fighting for that 4-level contract. Okay, let's put this into practice with an example, because this is really where the magic happens and it all starts to click. So let's imagine the auction's getting hot. Both sides have found a good trump suit and you're battling for control. Your side has a 9-card spade fit, and based on the bidding, you're pretty sure your opponents have at least an 8-card fit in hearts. Now, this is where the law of total tricks comes in. It tells us to add those two numbers together, your 9 spades and their 8 hearts, to get an estimate of the total number of tricks available on this entire deal. So, 9 plus 8 is 17. The law predicts that there are about 17 total tricks to be won between both sides on this hand, and that number, 17, is the key to everything. Now here's the crucial part. Those 17 tricks are split between the two teams, so think about it. If your opponents can make 8 tricks in hearts, the math says there are 9 tricks left over for you in spades. That means pushing the bid to 3 spades is a really, really good bet. And this reveals a huge strategic insight. You might think, oh no, if I bid that high, I might go down 1. But so what? A small penalty for your side, say minus 100 points, is often a much, much better score than letting your opponents make their contract for plus 110 or 140. It's about winning the battle on the scorecard, even if it feels like you're losing the battle on the hand. Now, this tool is awesome, but it's not a silver bullet. You can't just use it on every single hand. You gotta know when to pull it out of your toolbox to be really effective.
So when does the law really shine? Well, it's for those hands where both sides are bidding, fighting it out for a part score, a contract below game. It's for when the high cards feel like they're split pretty evenly down the middle and you're duking it out on the 2, 3, or 4 level. That's its sweet spot.
And just to be super clear, this is a tool for competition. It is not for constructive bidding. When your side clearly has the lion's share of the points and you're thinking about game or slam, you stick to your standard point counting methods. The law is for that messy, chaotic, competitive middle ground. Now, this is really important to remember. It's called the law, but it's really more of a powerful guideline. You should think of it as a strong rule of thumb, not some infallible command from on high. What's funny is the whole spirit of the law was actually captured decades before it even got a formal name. This quote from S.J. Simon's classic book, Why You Lose at Bridge, just nails the philosophy. When in doubt, bid one more. It's all about calculated aggression over being too passive. And believe it or not, even the experts are a bit divided on how accurate it is. On one hand, you've got proponents like Larry Cohen who swear by it as a fundamental tool. But on the other hand, a 2002 analysis found it was only precisely accurate on about 35 to 40% of deals. Heck, some experts have written whole books with titles like, I Fought the Law of Total Tricks.
So the key here is to treat it as another powerful piece of information to help your judgment. It's not a rigid mathematical formula. It's more like a cheat sheet, something to give you confidence and empower you in those really tough spots at the table.
Ultimately, the law of total tricks is just another weapon for your strategic arsenal. It's not about replacing your old skills. It's about adding a new layer of sophistication that empowers you to bid more confidently and put relentless pressure on your opponents. So I'll leave you with this question. The next time you're in that bidding war, are you going to trust the trumps or are you going to play it safe?